how can we, what do you think, improve our relationships with our siblings?
Yeah, so I can speak to this a little bit. I also do want to throw out a disclaimer. My sister and I have a great relationship as well, but it wasn't always like that. I think I want to throw that out there, that if you have a negative relationship with your sibling, there is potentially light at the end of the tunnel, because I think that you could find more in common, or you can have more common experiences or interests as you go on in life, because siblings is one of the longest relationships that you have. And things can always change, I think, especially since we're both adults now and we both have different values and different interests. And I think it just changes over time. So I just wanted to say that. If you find that you don't have anything in common with your sibling, something that will always be true, or most of the time, I guess, depending on your situation, most of the time be true, is that there are some things that your siblings can understand that no one else can understand if it relates to kind of like your family and like the dynamic in your family. So for example, like if you don't have anything in common with them, you can find things that bond you within the family, if that makes sense. Like for example, there's that saying, misery always loves company. Like you can always bond with your sibling in things that maybe you dislike about your family or your family dynamic. I'm not saying to like find things that you dislike, but I mean, that's something that you can bond over. Like, oh my gosh, I hate when mom does this, or like, oh my gosh, I don't want to go to this family gathering. Like I'm so like over it, whatever. Things like that, that like if you were to share with your friend, they might not understand it to the extent that your sister or your brother does, because they are actually in it as well. And I think if I were to kind of speak to my experience with my sister, we both have pretty similar personalities, but very, very different interests. But I think we like some of the same, we laugh at the same things, like we have similar sense of humor. So we like watching movies together. Like you can always be like, oh, hey, I'm gonna watch a movie. Like, do you wanna watch a movie with me, or this movie with me? And kind of bond in that way. Or I don't know, like if you have a TikTok, send them funny TikToks, like that's something that me and my sister do all the time. And I don't know, maybe if you are bored at home and you want to go get food, like, hey, do you want to go to the drive-thru really quick and get some food? Like that's, food is always such a bonding thing, I think, in my experience. So I don't think you necessarily have to have things in common with them, but there are things that you can do that will bond you, if that is something you're open to, I think. I don't know if anyone wants to add to that or not.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say with siblings, there's more inside jokes than ever. I mean, unless you're really close with your friends, but I mean, I know I have a lot more inside jokes with my brother than I do with my friends, just because we experience so much more together, right? There's so much more shared experience that we can talk about with each other that doesn't really make sense when it comes to other people in our lives, even our parents. So that's definitely a place to find common ground, even when it comes to just like simple things like doing the dishes together, or me having to drive my brother somewhere. It's just little moments that like that just kind of cement the fact that our siblings are with us and they're going to be stuck with us. So we might as well try to do our best to improve that relationship. And then I kind of do want to use this last little spiel I have to kind of transition to our next section about parents. But on the little darker side of shared experiences is that when there's conflict within a family, especially within between parents, I've definitely found that confiding with my sibling and talking about it, or just like, especially when my parents argue in the background or something, my brother and I will just be in my room, we'll close the door, and then we'll just talk about something else or watch some video together, you know. And that kind of shared, I don't want to call it trauma, but that shared experience is something that you don't share with anyone else. And I mean, quite frankly, those with siblings kind of are have this opportunity to actually share struggling, when you have a struggling parents, you have someone to confide in. Rather, when you're alone, you're kind of just alone. So that's something you can actually take advantage of and find solace in.